What's going on, people? We're back in the building again for another one. Fight day. Joshua versus Dubois. I'm doing a full card breakdown and prediction video right about now. So let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. Lock them in right now so you can't come back later and talk about, well, I knew that this person was going to win. Say it from now. Let's get into it. So let's start from the bottom upwards. We're going to start from the bottom fight, the first fight. Nice short card on this one. But, you know, there's some fights that aren't really as enticing as others. But the first one to talk about is Josh Padley versus Mark Chamberlain. You know, I haven't really watched any of Josh Padley's fights. I know I'm just not really too interested. I'm not going to lie to you. This is kind of a foregone conclusion. I think Mark Chamberlain is going to win this fight via stoppage. You know, he's got quite a bit of stoppages on his record. Padley isn't really that much of a power puncher, or his record suggests that he isn't. So I don't see this being an issue. Mark Chamberlain for the win. Get that out of the way. Next up, and already we do start to see, I kind of would have preferred this to be co-main event. We've got Joshua Buatsi versus Willie Hutchinson. Now, this is a bit of a difficult one. You know, Willie Hutchinson looked really good last time out versus Craig Richards. I personally don't really like Willie Hutchinson. I like him in the ring. I think he's really good, but he is one annoying character outside the ring. I don't really love the stuff he says. He kind of seems like a bit of a, I don't know, discount Tyson Fury in the way he tries to promote his fights and stuff. Not really a massive fan. Joshua Buatsi, I'm not the biggest fan of Joshua Buatsi either, but I'm also not a fan of him, if that makes sense. I like what he does in the ring, outside the ring. We just don't really know enough about him to kind of buy into him as a big fan of him. But I am a fan of what he does in the ring. I'm 50-50 on this one, maybe 55-45. I might push towards Joshua Buatsi to get it done. Now, Willie Hutchinson looked really great in the Craig Richards fight, but the only thing about that one is Craig Richards kind of got into the fight a little bit too late. He let a lot of rounds get away from him, should I say. Whereas Buatsi, he does a similar thing sometimes, did it in the Craig Richards fights himself, but he has venom and he has spite. And he definitely has it for this fight. Willie Hutchinson is great at getting under people's skin, annoying them, and I think he's really gotten under Buatsi's skin. But that could be to his downfall. That's why I do have a bit of, I'm not really sure in this fight, because Hutchinson is a good boxer, switch hitter, knows what he's doing in the ring, a little bit awkward, a little bit unorthodox as well. Buatsi does have that spite though. Like if he gets hit, he will come back at some point. It might not be straight away. Sometimes he waits to the end of the round, but he does want to slug it out. So I think this is a good one for him. I think with his last couple of fights being kind of not that kind of lackluster, especially with Dan Aziz being his friend, kind of like a glorified sparring session, if I'm honest. I don't think he's been able to kind of let himself off the leash, but in this one, he will. So let's go for Joshua Buatsi for the win via knockout. Next up, Josh Kelly versus, it would be Liam Smith, but unfortunately not. Ishmael Davis. Big up for Ishmael Davis for stepping in on like a week's notice, 5 days notice, something like that. Really disappointing not to have the Liam Smith fight, but I think that Ishmael Davis is going to try and bring the heat. I think he's got something to prove in this one. You know, he wants to be on those Saudi cards again, so he's going to put in a good performance. He is someone who is ready to scrap, but Josh Kelly is a very smooth operator. So it's going to be difficult to actually pin him down, difficult to hear him. I've heard quite a few people who've actually sparred him say he's really crazy in the gym. It's really hard to actually even land the glove on him, and he puts the work in on people. So I will go for the Josh Kelly win. Obviously, you know, anything can happen, but it kind of writings on the wall. This guy's been preparing for a fight for a long time, not against the same opponent, but he's had the camps going. So, you know, it will be a Hail Mary to back Ishmael Davis, but if he does it, I might even put a little cheeky tenner down on him to see if he does, but I think Josh Kelly will win this one. I'm going to go by points decision though. I don't think he's going to stop him. Josh Kelly for the win via decision. Next up, Chookagian versus Warrington. Now, this is going to be a scrap. Real scrap. Josh Warrington always comes to scrap, uses everything, hands and his head, but he always comes to bring a scrap on this one. His first time moving up to this weight. A lot of people thought he shouldn't really be fighting for the belt, and now the IBF have actually withdrawn their, what's it called again, approval of this fight, so it won't be for the IBF title. But I don't think that really matters. I think it's going to be a good scrap. Chookagian, his last time out, looked really, really good against Joe Cordina, but people said he's not really that much of a power puncher. although he did hurt Cordina quite a few times, and it is Warrington's first time at this weight, so he's moving up in weight. So I feel like he's gonna maybe feel the pace this one, might feel a little bit of a struggle in this one, and I back Chookagian to get the via stoppage, maybe, I don't know, I think it's gonna be a scrap. I think maybe you might see him hurt a few times, you might see Warrington hurt a few times, but he's a tough guy, so let's say late stoppage or points. That's what I think, but it's going to be a scrap both ways. I don't think this one's going to be a one-sided at all. I think it's going to be a very, very good fight. Next up, we have the co-main event, and this is Hamza Shiraz versus Tyler Denny. Now, Hamza Shiraz, I'm definitely on the hype train for now, but Tyler Denny has a history of upsetting the apple cart, of derailing the hype trains. Let's see if he can do it with this one. Tyler Denny doesn't really have, I think he only has one knockout in his record, I believe, one stoppage. He's not really a big knockout puncher. Shiraz's last fight with Amma Williams, and Williams is a bit of a big puncher, a bit of a power puncher in that one. He's a bit unorthodox, a little bit weird in how he boxes, but Shiraz is he's a really, really good boxer, especially for his weight class. I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", 6'3", somewhere around there. He's massive anyway, tall, very, very long. Very, very good jab, powerful jab, sharp jab as well as powerful with his jab. And his defense in the Amma Williams fight was impeccable. He got caught with a few shots kind of early on, but just the way he shows up and he's got very long arms, he can actually block his head and his body. I'm 6'4" myself. My arms are decent reach, but they're not extra long. So when I do block my head up high, my body can be slightly open. I'm not quite as gifted in the reach range as Hamza Shiraz. And just seeing how impenetrable that guard was when Amma Williams was trying to get through. He was blocking his head and blocking his body, stayed completely solid. None of the punches were getting through. I don't see Tyler Denny doing any kind of damage if Hamza Shiraz chooses to shell up. And I feel like Shiraz does have the knockout power to actually stop Denny. So I'm going to go by Hamza Shiraz via late stoppage. I don't think it's going to be an early one. I think Tyler Denny very, very tough. And I think Shiraz via late stoppage. The main event of the evening, we go Joshua Dubois. Fight week has happened. Media day has happened. Fight media workouts has happened. And nothing has really swayed me too much. But gives me a little bit of, squeaky bum time sometimes. Just seeing Dubois and the way that he doesn't really let anything faze him, it does make me feel like, this guy has really grown in front of us. The power is there. We had rumors of Don Charles not being in the corner, and then they were very quickly squashed. I actually heard that Spencer Fearon got a little cease and desist, so that's a bit mad. But yeah, some people thought, why people even talk about those rumors of John Charles not being in the corner and It's just trying to throw Dubois off. And the fact is that Dubois was asked where Don Charles was, and his answer was, I don't know. So, we can understand why you'll be a little bit like, something might be going on there. Dubois, I've been watching a few of his old fights and stuff, and it does make you go, right, this guy is a powerful guy. He's very, very solid. I saw the weigh-in, came in, I believe, 248, so he's on the heavier side of what he's used to being at. I think he's been similar to that before, but most of the time early in his career he was about 240-ish, late 230s, but 248, Joshua came in at 252, so Joshua's been quite consistent. He's been around that weight for his last few fights over the past year, and I do like this weight for Joshua, but that really suits him when he's keeping it at a very slow, controlled pace. Now, slight kind of breakdown of the fight. I believe that Dubois' keys to victory, he's got two. Yeah, he's either got to go very extreme and put the pace on Joshua early, or he's got to try and outlast Joshua, put the pace on him and keep it on him until late and try and stop him late. That's the two ways to victory I believe there is for Dubois, but I don't believe he can stand off him and wait for the perfect shot. And I don't believe he can play the jab battle. Despite what people saying about Dubois having a good jab, he does have a very good jab, but his jab, in order to defeat someone like Joshua, would have to use that jab to get into range. Very sharp jab, step into the jab to get into range, to then fight a little bit dirty, rough him up a little bit, and then go for those overhands and hooks, which is Dubois' specialty. Now, that's easier said than done. If you're trying to use that jab to get into range, You'll open yourself up to get countered if you don't have good defense. And Joshua is an excellent counter puncher. Despite what people don't really talk about it that much, he's a very, very good counter puncher. He's been that all throughout his career, but especially now, like the later half, from like Pulev onwards, very good counter puncher, which shows why he struggled with Usyk so much, because Usyk is so much faster. It's very, very hard to punch with your opponent when they're throwing 17 shots at you and you only got time to throw one. You know what I'm saying? That's Dubois' keys to victory. I think he's got to try and take it a little bit later, but keep the pace up on Joshua early and get a little bit rough in there, which, you know, he wants to do. He even admitted in one of his interviews that he's going to win by enemies necessary, headbutts, low belts. He said this himself, yeah? So a lot of people are not really giving him any chance. I do give him a chance, even though I do think Joshua will win. Get a prediction early. I give him a chance. I give him like 70-30. This week I've started to go 65-35 a little bit, if maths is right, but I still think he has a chance. It's the heavyweight division. One punch can change anything. Not necessarily knock someone out, but can hurt your opponent and change the course of the fight. And Dubois definitely has the power to do that. But, Anthony Joshua is levels above Daniel Dubois. But let's say the smart bet is on AJ. But, you know, if your heart goes to Dubois, I understand that. But you can't be like, you know, Dubois is faster, more powerful, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I believe. In my opinion, I don't believe that it's equal. If you look at their boxing ability and even their physical attributes, I don't believe it's equal. I believe AJ is higher in every way. I think the punch power is what could be the equalizer because it is the heavyweight division. AJ's keys to victory, didn't even talk about that. Is to try to use the first few rounds to use his jab and just keep it at his pace. Not allow Dubois to feel like he can move in or lead with his head and come in. Keep it at long to mid-range, not get close range. When Dubois eventually does get frustrated by a sharp jab being in his face all night, counter him with a pull counter with the right hand. As Dubois comes in, he does like to lead with his head. He does like to rush him, or sometimes he throws the right hand and he dips really low. If AJ pulls his head back when Dubois is coming in, when it's maybe coming in with a jab, as Dubois tries to pull the hand back to the face, AJ just counters with a right hand and then follows it up with a left hook, something that Hrgovic was not doing. Hrgovic was throwing a 1-2, straight 1-2, bam, bam every time, keeping the timing the same. It was becoming predictable. And even Dubois' body was maybe able to soak up that power because it's the punches that you don't see coming that will knock you out. Now, also we need to acknowledge that Anthony Joshua is very accurate. So if he pull back counter with that right hand left hook and just hurts Dubois, if Anthony Joshua stays patient and looks for that perfect shot to go through that leaky guard of Dubois and land right on the chin like he did with Pulev, I'm still quite impressed with the accuracy of that shot. When Pulev got hurt, knocked down in what was the 9th round, and then as he got up, 1-2, straight down the pipe, boom, on the point of the chin. And he threaded it right through, not on the face, not landing kind of here, right on the point of the chin, and that's a knockout punch. So I believe if Anthony Joshua stays patient and looks for that shot, then Dubois will go down. Now, you notice Dubois does have a good chin, so to speak. He does have a good chin. I'm not trying to do that to him, but with all of his punches, they're landing flush on the forehead, a lot of them, or the side of the head or here. Because he does keep his chin tucked quite well. He doesn't lift his chin very high. He's very good in that regard as a boxer, and he's a smaller fighter a lot of the time. He does pretty well on that. But if he gets caught on that chin, there's not a lot of defense that you can do to build up that point of the chin. 3.5 pounds of pressure is all it takes to rattle your brain and knock you out. And I believe AJ has the accuracy to do that. He's a sniper now. So I believe AJ will win this fight via knockout. It's hard to say this, it's weird to say this, but also wouldn't be surprised if something crazy happened and Dubois was able to hurt AJ. So I don't believe it's going to be as straightforward as an Ngannou one, but I do believe AJ will win by knockout before the 5th round, yeah? Pull back, count with a right hand and a left hook, and then that will set the pace to hurt him, and then it's going to be an uppercut. Dubois drops his head low quite a lot. Uppercut, left hook again, and that's going to be all she wrote. That's my belief. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see on Sunday morning. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. We're trying to get the followers up by the end of the month. I said 500 before, that was a bit optimistic. I'm going to go like 410. Yeah. See you soon. Peace.